Family and rain clouds. Jamie and Lou with you on BBC Radio Wales. It's 8 minutes past 11. Not easy being young in Britain, is it? The tabloids like to demonise young people if they can. It's always a good story, loitering around street corners, all that kind of thing. So it's time to meet the teenagers from Ruthin who've been working on a construction site in Soweto, building a home for abandoned babies in South Africa. They are Jessica Davies and Ryan Unsworth, who are 15 and 16 respectively. We'll talk to them in just a few moments. Let's just have a chat first with their project leaders, Nikita Mullins and Kendrick. Morning to you both. Nikita, what's behind this then? Where did the idea come from?
Well, this mission project has been happening for quite a few years. I think it's been happening in the UK for the last 7 years, give or take. And it's originally come from over Canada with a guy called Bill Hebner who started it, and he brought it over to Rill, and we started small, and now we've progressed to over 160 people each year.
Wow, that's incredible. Rich, tell us about the VOCYL of Clwyd Young Life. That's the group that the guys belong to and got involved. What kind of work, what are your aims? What kind of work do you do?
Sure. OK, good morning, by the way.
Morning.
VOCYL of Clwyd Young Life. It's a local charity based in Ruthin, North Wales. It's basically an outreach project for young people in the community. We saw a sort of lack of facilities and activities for young people over the past 2 years, and we set this up to just basically provide something in the community for young people to do. It takes on a number of facets, so they do like a weekly club, weekly activities, community events, and we do the summer camps, and then of course we do the mission projects to South Africa.
And just tell us, Nikita, about that South Africa project. What's been going on there? What have they been building?
Well, we've been out there to build 5 homes. We built 2 out of brick, and there was 3 made out of polystyrene blocks. Our team was doing the polystyrene blocks, which was not easy because unfortunately we had to make concrete for 5 days solid, so that was an interesting task.
I bet it was a bit hot as well, was it?
I think temperature soared above 30 degrees out there, so it was pretty hot.
Different to the weather in Ruthin, put it that way.
Very different, very different.
And one of these was a care home for abandoned babies, is that right?
Ebenezer, yeah. It takes in a variety of different people. There have been babies that have just been abandoned and left on the roadsides or near train stations or something.
Oh, God, Rich, I suppose it takes, it takes a lot of physical strength to do the work that Nikita's been explaining, but I suppose emotionally as well. That sounds quite tough.
It is. It was very emotionally tough, and I think some of the young people came back with a totally different mindset of life, of what they actually need in life compared to what these people have got over there. But it was heartbreaking to see, but it was really character building for the young people as well to see this, this kind of environment that people live in over there. So.
And Nikita, what are the backstories of these abandoned babies? I mean, why are these children being abandoned in Soweto?
Mainly probably down to financial issues, lack of homes out there. People just can't afford or can't keep them for any reasons, and sometimes, majority being female, they can't really do any manual work, so that's a downside really.
Yeah, and how long were you out there for?
We were out there for approximately 7 days.
Gosh, so it sounds like you've achieved a lot in a relatively short space of time.
Yes.
It was pretty non-stop, was it?
It was constantly, every day, wake up about 7 o'clock in the morning, start work about 8:30 and not finish till gone 6 at night. And
ordinarily, when you're not in Soweto building homes, what would you normally be doing?
Just any community projects that we can get our hands on, whether that's working in old people's homes, going out on the streets and doing some street work.
But not labouring on a building site?
No, not really. But we've done some mission work in the UK a few years ago as well, so...
It's inspiring stuff. We'll talk to Jason and Ryan in just a few moments. That's Nikita and Rich, the project leaders, and more from them in just a few moments. Jamie and...
Very good, Al, very good. God, make a date for that. Michael Caine, like the sound of that very much indeed. We're chatting now with Jessica Davies, she's 15, and 16-year-old Ryan Unsworth. They've recently been out to South Africa to help with building work in a community in a small village near Soweto. Welcome to you both. Ryan, I'll start with you. Tell me a bit about when it was first mentioned about the South Africa trip. Were you up for it, or did you have second thoughts?
Well, it was my second trip, so I was really up for it.
So you knew what to expect?
I'd had a taste of it before. I did Mexico 2 years ago, doing pretty much the same thing. But I've always wanted to go to Africa, and the community building projects, I just love doing them. So I was really looking forward to it, yeah.
Ryan, most of us have never been to Soweto. I mean, you have. I mean, give us an idea of the kind of conditions that people are living in there.
It ranges. There's some really nice areas that are built by the government, like for the World Cup, to make it kind of look good. But when you get down to it, there's some really kind of gritty slums and people living in horrible conditions.
Jessica, was this your first trip?
Yeah, it was my first one.
Gosh, so what did you... I mean, you must have had your eyes opened when you arrived. What did you think when you first saw the conditions?
I thought it was terrible the way they were living, but it was okay in the end because they actually thankful and grateful of what they got.
And I bet both of you have got enormous muscles in your arms now from shoveling all that concrete.
Oh, that was horrible.
Really? That was a shock,
about
was
that.
it? Jessica, how did you cope with that?
I was all right with the heat. It's just mixing concrete and it was drying really quickly on the ground.
So tell us about your mixing concrete skills then.
Oh, they've got a little bit better.
It's all in the mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sand and the cement and all that business. And the water, yeah.
Tell us about the heat, Ryan. Did you cope with the heat all right?
Compared to here, it's ridiculously hot. But it's good to be out in it other than rain, I guess.
Yeah, it makes a change, doesn't it?
Because if you'll forgive the phrase, you had a dry run at this, didn't you? There was an effort to do a project called Slum Survivor, and you had to build a shelter in Ruthin. Is that right? Jessica, were you involved in that?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was terrible. We actually we got rationed food on what people in like Soweto were living in the poor parts.
So what did you live on then? Tell me about the food rations.
Well, we had 1 spoon of rice and 1 spoon of lentils 2 times a day, and that was our meals for the day.
Oh, I bet that didn't go down very well.
No.
And what about the shelter, Ryan?
In Slum Survivor?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go to Slum Survivor, that was Jess.
Right.
So how did it turn out in the end, Jess?
It was all right. They were all flooded by the morning on Saturday because it was pouring down on Friday.
Shock.
Yeah, well, it's Wales.
So when you were over in Africa, tell us a bit about the conditions that where were you staying and, how were you coping food-wise and all that kind of thing?
Well, we were in tents in like a community campsite kind of thing outside the care centre. And we all had tents, like boys and girls. And we had kitchen staff and we kind of made like a big buffet table every night. It's not as luxurious as it sounds, but it's food, so it's good.
And what was the working day like, Jessica? I mean, were you working all day in this heat?
Well, we had breaks from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, so that's the hottest time of the day there.
Yeah.
And so we had to have a break then. Then we started building again at about 3:30 till 7 o'clock some nights.
Gosh.
Terrible.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Rich was saying earlier a bit about it not just being hard work physically, but I mean emotionally as well. You must have seen some things that, you'd never ever seen before.
You do see some things that kind of get you down, but it's really uplifting because you get the locals and the kids, and they just come and help you to sort of mix the cement and put the walls up. So it is really uplifting in the end.
And they must have been delighted, Jessica, with all this work that you've done. I mean, you must have had the most wonderful reaction from them.
Yeah, all the little orphans were just so basically unbelievable because they were all helping. Like there were 5-year-olds helping us concrete, which is unbelievable.
I suppose now you're home, you must be thinking about them an awful lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you like to go back?
Yeah, I'd love to live there if I had the choice and help them.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that you see, you never know when you, maybe after university or something like that, or it's something you could do. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, definitely.
Ryan, I wonder if it changes your view when you come back home after all that you've seen in Soweto.
It's changed my opinion on a lot of things so much. I mean, I'm really grateful for what I have now, and grateful for what I get. And it's just after you see the conditions that people live in, you come back here and everything's kind of really surreal, and it makes me want to go back and keep helping all the time.
Do you think it's something that all teenagers should have to do?
Shouldn't have to do, but if people have an urge to change and make a difference in other people's lives, then it's definitely something I recommend.
Are you in touch, Jessica, with all the people you met in Soweto?
With some people, yeah. I write letters to them sometimes. And I speak to, the people who run there, I speak to them on Facebook as well. So that helps a lot. We speak about different countries and that.
So what's your next project? Have you got anything lined up, guys, that you're working on next?
The community building project next year is going to Mexico, we think, at the moment, and we've got camps throughout the summer in Powys and things like that.
Sounds great.
I wonder if you two have been helping to do any cementing and concrete at home with your newly acquired skills.
Unfortunately, no.
I thought you might say that, Ryan.
Congratulations, it's a wonderful project, and we're both very grateful that you've come in and talked to us this morning. All the best with it.
Yeah, well done.
Jessica Davies, who's 15, and Ryan Unsworth, 16, joining us from Rill this morning.